Good morning, everybody. Peace. So this is Friday morning. This is my check-in video. I had been resting a little bit. I've been mentally and physically and spiritually exhausted. I've been trying to detox, which I used to do regularly years ago, like very, very regularly, like a regimen. And after 2004 and after 2004, when I got clean and sober, I also had been diagnosed in 2004. When I became homeless, I got health insurance for the first time in years, and I was diagnosed with what they called precancerous cells in the cervix. I think it was, let's see, when I look at that recently, CIN3. So abnormality of the cells. They wouldn't let me leave the appointment that I was at OHSU until I made an appointment for a surgery or for a LEAP procedure. And the LEAP procedure, I had a chunk of my cervix removed, and it was horrifying. I think that occurred in 05. It was painful. It was horrifying. I couldn't drive. I couldn't walk. I was bleeding everywhere. You hear that? I don't know if you can hear it because it's the speakers. This is what woke me up. With the detox stuff, I had gained a bunch of weight after 2005. I quit smoking. I quit caffeine. I quit. I didn't really drink, but I had my last drug was alcohol, like a sip of beer, a sip of wine at a Chinese food party. My neighbors called it, and my gums are killing me. All this stuff is hurting me right now in my body, and they're completely tore up. This parking lot next to us, I don't even know if my partner can get in this doorway, and our steps over here are looking really funky. So he might actually have to come in the back door because I don't even know if they might have blocked us off, basically. I almost want to go outside and grab my plants and stuff out of they're like right in the doorway, but because I got one that's contaminated and I got two, actually I only have, the other one's died, so I don't have the other two. Yeah, so my sweet potato is outside because it's got mites, and then my sage got the mites too. I'm pretty disappointed. I don't know if any of this stuff happened with the plants from what you call it place, Lowe's, the Mother's Day plants, which died. All of them died. The mints died. What happened to the second mint? It was alive. Anyways, I quarantined my plants when I got home, and I told my boyfriend to keep these plants away from the other plants, and I kept them in the bag. And he took them out of the bag and put them right with my other plants. So my plants were all dead. They got bugs. This one had some kind of worms or something crawling all over. I feel pretty disappointed because somebody taught me when you get your plants, I should have done it right away. You come home and you rinse them underwater and spray them down. And then for me, quarantine them. Just like if you get fish, quarantine them. Just like if you get other animals and pets. My mind is like you set them aside, like Ellis Island, and you let them be, and you check on them, and you might even treat them, and until you know that you don't see anything, and it's easy for something to grow. As soon as you see a bug or something, I would either take it outside or take it to a part of the house that doesn't have any plants that you can't touch, like brush up against on your shirt, like maybe a bathroom or something where you can treat it and keep it in a windowsill away from everything else. That's just me. I feel like plants outside can be really prone to any kind of bug, but I feel like they're stronger and there's more like predators out there that can eat the bugs. So then I would see some of my plants get weak and get sick, but other ones didn't. So I was like actually surprised. Oh, I have a haul, you guys. So I got 3 bars of soap, lavender. I don't have the soap right now. Here, I'll show you this. I have the dry lavender grosso buds here, which is not a clear package, obviously. I can't see or smell them, from Deep Creek Lavender Farm. They are here in Maryland, far away. I wanted to go for summer, but it's like 3 or 4 hours away. Speaking of bug honey, something looks like a bug on here. Thank you so much for your purchase. It is people like you that help our small business to grow. You're appreciated. Ann and Scott. And that's their web address. That's mirror image for me. I got 2 of these cans of cooking, culinary lavenders. Cooking. So like, what's the difference? So full gate lavender buds? I don't even know. But I can see, ooh, I can kind of smell that one. So I'm going to grab this soap since I'm doing a haul. Let's see what's going on. Hold on. I don't know where I put these ones. Just a second. Bunch of bullets. Alright, just trust me on it because I don't know what I did with them. I'll have to come back tomorrow and do it. They're not in there. I didn't want them with the honey because I didn't want the honey. So basically, they're in kind of bigger bar, so they're inside of something. And I don't know if it was like shea butter, and I can't actually remember the ingredients, so they probably have them online. I'll show you that later. I didn't want it next to my honey because I didn't want it to absorb, even though lavender honey sounds kind of like not bad. So that one will be for the regular leaves or buds will be for my store. So basically one of my business credit cards was going to expire if I didn't use it. So I'm going to do the satchels with fresh lavender. I might mix the other lavender because some of the ones I have smell really good still. And I got someone accused me of using old lavender and I had to resend them the stuff. And I actually had made the satchels and left them upstairs for like a year where I had no climate control. I had heaters but no air conditioners. So the whole thing of yesterday was several hours, like 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours were spent dealing with peace. So we did the peace vigil here in town. And then the temple had a peace, interfaith peace event, praying for peace. And there's some controversy in who's doing what and why and how. But I am telling my family members, I am still praying for peace. And it doesn't have to be big events in the news. It could be small events in the news or small events or big events that aren't talked about. What I see is people getting hurt. What I see is families being destroyed, people getting kidnapped, buildings getting destroyed with people in them, animals in them. This is unacceptable. Even if I flee my building and my building gets demolished, that's traumatic for people. Your livelihood, your place of work, your vehicle, the things that you saved, your photographs you saved from your mother, and different things like that. So when I think of peace, it's hard for me to think, oh, I'm this guy and this guy and this guy says this and this guy says this and what's propaganda and all these different things. So I'm trying to do a little bit of a self-study on some things, but all I know is people around the world, and it's been going on since thousands of years ago, have been hurt because some conflict where somebody's fighting over something and they have not resolved it by talking or compromising or shaking their hands and going the other way. So that's what I don't get. I don't want to fight with people, but I can't be so soft that I have people attacking me and I don't stand up for myself, because I've been like that my whole life. I used to use the word passive, rather than that word passive aggressive. That vocab word started popping up. So I felt like I was passive. If someone were to slap me or do this to me, I just kind of stand there stunned. Like, oh my God, I can't believe someone did that. I would never think to do that. It's like, I don't get up and fight. I'm scared to tell, because I go tell every time I try to tell somebody something, I'm the one who's getting blamed. My kids have been blamed when my son has gotten beat up and white kids got away with it. And my kid was sent to the office. I was called. I should have been called. I mean, people can press charges, you know. I asked the other parents, like, they don't even tell the other parents, and they definitely didn't scold the other child. The other child should have been suspended from school. And it's just, like, that happened. My kid invited the other kid, this kid who beat up my son, like a year or two later, invites my kid to a birthday party. And I said, well, I feel uncomfortable. I want you to know that he beat up my kid. And they're like, well, you know, one of the other boys was telling this bad joke, and your son repeated the bad joke. So there, your son is bad. I was like, someone beating up my kid, and my kid's being like 6 or 7, telling some stupid joke that some other jerk, I know this kid, this tall, rich kid, like, I'm gonna talk to my kids, of course. But it's like, are you gonna talk to your kids? That's the thing. That's none of my business. But when those kids grow up knowing that they can pounce somebody and get away with it, and they have a mother and father and a principal and a school teacher that doesn't say, you keep your hands to yourself, you know, then those people grow up to be monsters, guys. And me and my kids are going to be all like tucked away. Like, the system hasn't worked for us. Is it going to work for you when you're older? Is it going to work for us in our lifetime? Is it going to work for your kids when you have kids? So I just feel like it's just so hard, and I want peace, and I'm not a man, so I don't understand. And women are made to like bicker and fight amongst themselves. I have nightmares about these people, and I end up like trying to put these people look at me in the eye, and then I wake up like, oh my god, it's like sorcery over here. It's like they are trying to like just be mean and deal with stuff when I'm dealing with my partner. And there's billions upon billions upon billions of people of all types, not even talking about your income level, but different personalities, different hobbies. There's enough people that someone doesn't need to try to get into a spat with me to try to steal my partner away. We had an incident yesterday where I was ROFL, and I actually hurt myself. I'm like, I'm getting rid of this so in case I have to ROFL again. We did a census thing, and my partner gave his race, and then this person was like, do you live with anyone else? And he said, yeah, my partner, this and this. And what race is she? And I said, black. I said, black. And the lady's like, what? And he's like, black. He tried to say that. He said it 3 times. And she was like so stunned that there was a white male and a black female. And I literally fell down and was like, I was like busting up. I've seen my mom busting up laughing. I busted up. And I hurt myself. Like, why is that like so stunning to people? And it was really lame. This person was way too gossipy, and it was really uncomfortable. I've worked and been trained by the census multiple times, and I'll tell you one thing, guys. I don't be gossiping or talking about personal matters. I told my partner, if they ask you, oh, how was the drive here? I was pretty good, you know. If they ask me, oh, they got you out here in the nighttime, or they got you out here in the rain, I can be like, oh yeah, they got us out here, you know, kind of got some stuff in our schedule and kind of get it checked off, you know, or yeah, I traveled in, so I went ahead and said, you know, since I'm already out here, you know, I might give a little bit of back and forth. They ask me a question, but I'm not going to be like, oh, I know who owns your building, or oh, I know who used to live here, or oh, I know your uncle, or oh, I like that. To me is inappropriate. I think they should have people. Like, it sucks, but I almost feel like they should have people. Like, you shouldn't punish everybody for everybody. People need to go, and they need to be professional, and they need to be like It's like the opposite of like HIPAA. You go outside and you see your doctor and you don't want to say, oh, how is that fungal infection doing on your blankety blank? Like while you're in the grocery store, like you want it to be civilized. You want it to be intelligent. You want it to be, this person has everything about you in front of them. Whether they wrote it down, whether they type it in a computer, whether they memorize it. And when they start gossiping, you feel like, what are they going to say about me? When they're like, oh, I know the people that live there because this person works here and this person there. How do you know that? Oh, because I did a confidential census thing. Like, I mean, I've had stuff like this happen and it really can mess you over. So I try to be cautious because I mean, I think what people do is they can be in a privileged and entitled place where they don't think that the training, the rules pertain to them. Just like that kid that beat up mine, he had light skin and very light hair and light eyes. He got away with stuff. And some other kid cut up my kid's clothing. And I get a report and my son comes home and his hoodie's all cut up with scissors. And someone has scissors, they're cutting sharp objects next to my kid's face, eyes, hair. And B, we're super poor. I remember that. People say, you don't remember stuff you get rid of. I remember that hoodie. It was like a teal blue hoodie with a gray, like slate gray dark hood. There's so much noise. I was supposed to be asleep. I wanted to sleep all weekend and I had construction all week. All week. I'm going to text my partner and tell him I'm really grateful to be awake today and alive. Let's jump right into it. Let's just go to prepping. I'm not sure the date of the which one? Oh my god, Canadian prepper who owns Canadian Preparedness. I take stuff with a grain of salt, guys. So that people have different views or political views or their viewers have different comments. I take it with a grain of salt. And he's trying to be like, oh, I'm still here. People are like, oh, I'm glad you're still making videos. You haven't bugged out yet. And with your people are like, you need to take your family and bug out. Some people are like, oh, no, you need to be here and do the work of God and let people know that the world's changing. And it's like, he's basically taking the news. He's taking the news mainly from the U.S., from the U.S. point of view, and with the U.S. president, and with the stuff that's going on in the Middle East and in Europe. So all of the things that I don't think I watched this video before the pandemic. Okay, at least I let him know. So that racket woke me up at like 7 this morning. God, I hope they didn't cut up they didn't put any notification or anything that they're going to tear up our yard. Our pathway in might be completely demolished. And if it is, I will have no way out of this apartment. Because even if I go out the back door, the side door, the kitchen door, which is really not safe, the stairs are really decrepit, they both you had to come from the path where they tore up. So either the downstairs stairs and up to the down, so they're both at the same spot. So it's not like the stairway's coming from this way or that way. So I'm like, I might be stuck in here. My partner might be stuck out. So let's take it from there. Something as simple as that. There was no notification given. They moved all these people's plants. Speaking of plants, I've had a quarantine plant where a yard guy broke this flower pot, and then he put my quarantine pot next to all my other plants, a whole bunch of them that didn't have bugs, and he propped up the broken clay pot where he broke it to make it look like it wasn't broken. And then when I went back, I said, oh my God, he put the quarantine buggy plant next to all my healthy plants. And then I go to try to pull them apart right away, and they all the broken pot falls apart. I call management, they don't care. I'm like, are you kidding me? These people, if they would have like knocked on my door or like brought the plant, like gone and got a trash bag or something and wrapped the plant up and put it on my door's like the note that says, oh, okay, sorry, it would have, I still would have been ticked off. Some of those things are really expensive, and it doesn't matter how much price it is. The fact is that you came to my job or my home, you got paid to do work, and you hid something, you lied, and you ran away. Yeah, it's ridiculous, guys. It's like if you broke something at work, like the dishwasher or something, like you could just be like, oh, no one will know us, leave. And they come in, the dishwasher's not broken. Oh, it was working last night. Like, someone could lie. Like, why not just call and say, hey, so someone can get on top of it. Oh, okay, we need to call it in. We need to get the repair person here so that we can get back on track, So going back to the Canadian Canadian prepper, the full spectrum survival. I was watching Lily. What is Lily's called? Right, Survival Lily. And then the guys, they should have invited her. The guys had what's that guy from Washington? City Prepper. Nate from City Prepping, and there's one more guy. They all look so similar. They're on a group chat. I felt like they were doing once every month or two. I haven't seen that group chat. I can't remember what that was called. But basically, it used to be I watched these shows and you watch these people outside making fires. You watch Lily trying to survive in the woods under like a lean-to kind of shelter, like just a bed lean-to. And you watch these like people making beans in a cooker that doesn't use much fuel, doesn't generate a lot of smoke, water filtration, livestock. So I was used to watching this, growing food, setting up a perimeter. I mean, this thing right here, they should have put notices on all of our doors. Because for Pete's sakes, they're going to shut all this off. How do you know I'm not like in a wheelchair, need a walker, need a car to pull up to the door to get me to my appointments? You know what I mean? Like this town is crazy. Like, without, like, I don't know, in Portland, you got to put notices on things before you do stuff. And these guys are over here doing freaking, someone's going in the out. I think it's the lady who owns the store. She's coming back saying like, she's coming in the out, or out the in. Oh my God. They're like throwing metal off the roof. So they've been doing construction over here. They put up like cedar shake, which I love. But they've been really loud too all week. They're like throwing stuff down on the sidewalk. The sidewalk's not even blocked off. Do you guys think I should stay in, bug in? Today is like, there's like literally, oh, that's a worker. They got people throwing stuff. I guess you just walk in the street. There's businesses and homes in these doors. They don't have like yellow tape or anything. Oh, there's sirens. You know? They stopped. This banging up just stopped too. Anyway, so the thing is, I think they knew. I don't think this is an emergency that they're tearing up the ground. There is a bunch of orange spray paint up our drive. And we've been doing a lot where we had to pull our truck up to the door for grocery shopping and for the trash, to put heavy stuff in the trash from the truck. And we were supposed to go out and do water haul last night. And I said, don't worry about it. You're tired. And water haul also involves us pulling up to our door and dropping it off instead of, because we got to park about a block away. So nobody's trying to carry 10 gallons of water. We get them in 6-packs. My whole house is shaking right now. We get them in 6-packs, and he carries them. I think I carried. Did I try to carry one once? I'm sure I would have put my back up. I remember somebody had 2-packs or something in Portland, and I was like, this is not easy. I was like, what if I was a little old lady? I was like, don't judge little old ladies. They're stronger than you. Come on. It's like, you've been injured and you've been hurt. Going back to the prepping, that's a personal thing. We have gotten sick, both of us, very sick from the tap water. I had to figure it out for myself when I left my home that had well water and went into city water living. I was sick so often I couldn't hold down food, and I discovered even the filtered water I'd buy from the store, like you bring your own jug, I discovered that I could tolerate that. My dog moved to Lansing, Michigan and got sick from the tap water as well, and I had to do the same thing. And I went to get the filtered water, which I didn't even know was tap water. I was like, I don't know the difference between spring water and filtered water and distilled water. I guess distilled water I knew went into the iron. But my dog would drink the water. In that time that I ran out of water, I don't even know if I was drinking it. I might have just been giving her the water. For Lansing, Michigan, when I stayed at my brother's house, I was giving my dog the filtered water. I went to the store and their filtered water was broken. So I didn't have any. I gave her tap water, and she did like she did when she moved to Lansing. She started puking out foam all over the kitchen floor after drinking the water. And you say, oh my God, what is in the water? Dogs drink out of toilets. Dogs drink out of puddles and water that's been standing, and ew. They drink. We lived on a lake. They slurp up that dirty lake water where our neighbors dump their septic and their suds and algae and all kind of nasty, like who knows what, protozoas, and animals are all around. We're in the woods, all wild animals. But and I didn't like to watch TV, but I put the TV on the local channel at my brother's house because every few days there was a boil water advisory because the water went from the sewage to the sewage treatment back into the homes and businesses as clean water. And something in that process would get messed up, and these people couldn't do the sewage or couldn't drink the water because it had critters in it. That's why, I have a feeling that he might not be able to get into our side door, and I might not be able to get out, and I'm really freaked out. I got stuff to do. This lady is driving around like a maniac. I'm gonna open the window so it doesn't look obvious. Can you see me, guys? I'm always like looking out the window. This lady who owns the store is driving around like a maniac. I thought she was gonna park in the street, but she can't get into her. These are one of the people that try to give me that. Some people I might not get along with, and I try to wave at and say hi, or when I don't know and I wave at and say hi, how's it going, and they'll talk, and just, but it got to a point where there is some deep discomfort. Let me go get my tea. Hold on, guys. Hey guys, I'm back. Hello. I think that the numbers aren't there. I'm back. So I have a question for you all about these bottles. These are aluminum. I thought they would be good for camping, bugging in, bugging out, so that way if they fall, they get dented, they don't break because they're glass. They're not glass. I believe they are aluminum though, which is kind of creepy because I don't want a lot of aluminum, but it's not like oily or anything. Plastic is annoying. It's like it's all crinkly. Gives away your position. These things I've seen get holes, so you try to reuse it. You try to reuse it a couple times, and it literally gets holes because where all these cracks are, It's like it punctures it. So here's the problem with these. When I got these, I had a whole case of them, and they are super hard to open, right? This one's already been open at least once. They're really hard to open, and I had not been able to open them, and I have a bum wrist too. I had 2 of these that I told my partner I wanted to keep. I have this one and this one. I have 2 full ones, and the rest I believe have been recycled. I put the other 2 in the recycling because I said, this is ridiculous. My still small voice in my heart says, get rid of any rubbish. If it's a regular water bottle that you want to save, a plastic bottle, maybe it has BPA, maybe it has all kind of other phthalates and stuff, but just, if you have a bottle you want to save it. But if it's something you already used and you know it's hard to open, get rid of it. Because if you have 5 of these in the car, or 5 of these in your backpack, and with the heat and cold, this is what I'm thinking. Even though it's already been pre-opened once, and maybe you want it actually really tight, I feel like with a change in temperature, it could be a potential where you have a bunch of water, but you can't get in it because you can't open it. And so I'd be better off with a bunch of these. And I had some of these with the crystal geyser where the top did not fit, and the top would not go back on. And they're leaking all over the place. I was trying to tell my boyfriend. So what would you do? Would you save these? I thought that you could use these in boil water. I don't know if that would be, like, you could stick a couple of these. So that's where my mind's thinking. You stick a couple of these in a fire. It might be too much aluminum. It might just burn. It might just burn a hole in it. But you could use it to make, you could reuse them. I mean, that's the thing. You could boil it without the lid on it, is what I'm trying to say. But, so that'd be one thing. Oh my God, I don't think my partner's going to be able to get in. I'm trying to see if I could see what this shop owner is trying to do. It doesn't matter. I say I don't like it in the town. It doesn't even matter because in the woods, in the suburbs, they do this kind of stuff all hours of the morning too, before 9. Usually places say quiet hours until 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. or whatever. Or, sorry, 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. It's quiet time in your complex. And then you have all these people coming making all this noise. Like, I mean, if I was at work, I'd want to go to work early before it gets hot and sunny and crowded and just get it done. But it's like, people live here, you know. This is they refuse to give us a pass for residential because we need to be like 1/4 of a block that way to qualify. And it was a free parking pass. It was parking in the street though. Parking in the street and guest pass, multiple guest pass. They were handing those to us, and then they look at our address again and say, no, you don't qualify. You had to pay, like, was it $300 and something, $350 or something crap to pay to park instead of park for free. I was like disappointing. Like, you don't live in the right, like, I was like, but it's residential parking. I'm not a business. Well, you're in a business district, but I am a resident in an apartment. Like, you know what I mean? The rules, guys, the rules. I mean, fine. And then they're like, you can't park there because you can't park overnight. But some guys like park there for free after hours. Just come move your car, park in the street for 3 hours or 2, whatever the max, 2 hours maximum, and park there, and go try to park 3 blocks over there where the sign says no overnight parking and no 8-hour limit and all this stuff. I was like, I'm going to sleep and in bed for more than 8 hours. Might not be asleep, but I'm not trying to be the Seinfeld episode. So when you have personal crises, think about people that are prepping and survivalists and preppers. You have personal issues. You see me getting heated because I got woke up by all this noise. I was feeling sick. I sat in a peace ritual last night. And I couldn't see the candles, by the way. It was several hundred people. I don't know. It's like, let's just say that I saw a sign that said capacity 107, so maybe it was only 107 people. I'm pretty sure that was way more than that. I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but it was standing room only. Let's just put it like that. And there was people in the hallway. The head of the NAACP was reported to have been there. And there was just all, like, it was interesting because 15 minutes before it was starting, there was a young woman that was like, everybody find your seats. Everyone's like, we were talking to someone we knew. And then she said that. And it was like 15 minutes before it was supposed to start. And then we went and moved up closer. And we ended up not talking to our friend. And someone else comes up and says, oh, we're not starting until the time. Was it 7? I think 7 or 7:30. We did a lot yesterday, so my partner was tired. God, I hope he's okay. Everything has been hard on us. So you have personal things we have to prep. You have pandemics where you're not a part of the stay-at-home order because your job becomes essential, or you apply for unemployment to get income, and then your jobs become where you're not able to work from home, working in person, getting sick, not being covered. So when you're sick with COVID and you miss 3 weeks of work, I did not get any money from anybody, and I missed a week. I missed 4 weeks total. I missed a week of work, or 10 days, I think, in 2020 when I was working at the post office. And I did apply for some fund. I think I got some COVID funds in 2020, and then I got an extra tax return, like, I don't know, $36. But the thing was, because of that, I couldn't do my taxes online, and I'd already done them online or something, and then I had to end up paying the money. And after I paid the tax people, they said, oh, by the way, you can't e-file because you have that COVID fund thing. You need a paper file. So I paid for the service to e-file, and I had to print up all of the tax paperwork and go spend all the money to mail it. And it's another thing. Good thing it wasn't like 11:59 the day it was due. And I thought that was super bogus because you know full well I always do my taxes on paper first, and then I do it online for the convenience. And then I spend higher and higher and higher every year. I can't afford it. I cannot afford it. It's more to do it online for me than it would to go to sit down in front of a person and do it. And that's scary too. Because their prices are. Someone did a class action lawsuit, and they did another thing too. But the prices of that are higher than they advertise. When you start, they say it's going to be this amount, and I'm not adding extra services. And every time I spend all the time going through it, and it gets to the point where my brain is mush. I said, you know what? You need this timestamp date. It just, I mean, especially if you already paid for it, and you're like, what? I have to go, like, I would have just turned in the papers that I already had. Maybe I wrote it in pencil. Just go back and do it in pen or type it in a PDF. So this is personal crisis. This is other things taking your money. You need food. You need shelter. You need medication. You need clothing. You need protection. You need something to keep you sane, whether that's entertainment, cards, coloring books for all ages. The food can help entertain you if you have foods you like and you can create. I just made some granola bars, or a giant granola bar, kind of like a pancake, like an oatmeal pancake. I just ate one of the chunks that had the, I put it in the food processor, tiny little food processor, and I did not get the pineapples, the freeze-dried pineapple, or the freeze-dried blueberries to break down. I thought they were going to chop it up. The machine was going to chop it up. So I just ate that, and I was like, that tastes really good, and it was really soft, which is weird. And I was like, interesting. I don't eat a lot of pineapple. And then I was like, oh, I used to make pineapple upside down cake. So it kind of reminded me of that. It was pretty fruity. I suspect because I put the fruit powder. But that's something that you can make before a disaster. What if we can't go get our bottled water and we are on our last gallon, and I have to I can't get outside because they got our walkway blocked off, and we didn't go get the water the night before. What's weird is for a week or two, I've been telling my partner, we need to get water, we need to get water. And he's like, we have a lot of water. So, well, we have a little bit of water. But if we're both going through 1 or more gallons each a day, a 6-pack isn't going to last that long. 2 6-packs isn't going to last that long. So why didn't I go get water? Because usually he says, oh, let's go get the 6-packs. They're heavy and they're cheaper. They're not cheaper because of that. It's cheaper depending on if you go to Big Lots to get the individuals or Dollar Tree. So I do have a Berkey, mini Berkey that's never been used. I do have a other Life Straw and another filter, but I'd have to use tap. So what if the tap water went out? I do have 2 jugs that have been sitting too long that have water, and I have a bunch in the bathroom that have been open, and I'm going to have to write bathroom because the dust and dander and laundry stuff and toilet paper dust is all in there, lint, especially since they've been with their lids off. I was trying to do the lids off for 2 or 3 days. Those are supposed to be for plants. So if push comes to shove and our water got shut off, which maybe it will get shut off because they're digging up the pipes. I don't even know. Nobody told us. And I think that they should put a notification on each door that says at 7 a.m. on Friday, we're going to be tearing up your house so you can't get into your business or your house, your apartment or your building. You can't drive up to your building. You can't have the delivery trucks always go here. The Teddy Bear Fresh and the Cisco trucks, like every day. I don't know about the Teddy Bear Fresh every day. So what is your own personal crisis? And what is your crisis when the world is going crazy? Or if your crisis when part of a world is going crazy? When September 11, 2001 happened, we were in a personal crisis because we were homeless with 2 small children and 2 parakeets. And we had no place to live. People were super suspicious when we came back into town. The place we were supposed to live was a conflict. They had told us for months and years to come stay with them when we got to town. We show up at their house. They're like, no, you can't stay here. And then we could have maybe stayed there a few days later, but September 11th happened and their parents had to be grounded. They could not fly back to Michigan. And so there was a huge issue. Banks making my check out to my name, my maiden name, and all these other issues with having no cash, needing diapers, being homeless. It was cold at night. We had a little bit of money on our credit card. We could have gone into, I don't know if we had a credit card, but we could have gone into a hotel. We went to a motel to try to get a 1 week to give us a break. This was before September 11th, because our friends weren't able to have us stay with. They had like a 2-bedroom apartment. All the hotels had no pets, absolutely no pets. It was too cold to leave tropical birds outside. So we had our own personal crisis. Nobody would take my check to open a new account. I think it was for $5,000. So did we have some cash? We had a little bit. Some of it was unusable because the bank gave me counterfeit bills. Did we have food, water, shelter? We had a tent. Whatever happened to that tent? I don't even know. I think we had sleeping bags. Yeah, because when we finally got an apartment, we finally found a place to stay at our friend's room, but there was just a hardwood floor. There was no bed, no couch. We literally slept on the ground in sleeping bags with the children. And then we moved into an apartment. We had no beds. And we literally slept on the floor with the children. When my daughter was a toddler, she ended up with a bed from the thrift store, a toddler bed. Actually, I think we got the toddler bed for my son. My dad finally came, like, after a year. He said he was going to come with my beds. I said, just bring the beds. He said, I'm going to put them in the back of my truck or in a trailer. He came with half a house, and all that stuff has been lost because I fled that apartment. My Ethan Allen furniture, everything. So, divorce, domestic violence, fleeing for different reasons. What are all the things that are personal and you're not able to get help? You're not able to go to a place to get a outside. There's no shelter. There's no availability. Oh, you can't bring pets. You can't pay to stay here. You can't stay with friends and family. You can't stay somewhere that's free, except your vehicle or except your tent that you're paying to sleep. You're not paying to sleep out in the woods randomly outside of Mount Hood. These things are difficult, especially when nobody helps and the rest of the world, entire city around you, your relatives are not in crisis. You're in a period of crisis. This was happening after my mom died and everything got even worse in my family. And then when you have a pandemic or you have some kind of tragedy in the town, you have flooding in Vermont, you have these different things where the community's like, we will rebuild, snowstorms and all this chaos. It affects you, but it might not affect the world. It affects you, but it might not affect your family member in Ohio. But that doesn't mean that people are going to reach out and help you out. When there's storms and hurricanes, my partner wants to get into a car, into a truck, and drive there and help people. I was like, oh my God, we got to get our tools. You got to bring your medical equipment, like complete strangers. And we're like, dude, you got to go to work tomorrow at 5 a.m. Like, I hear you. That's not going to pay us, but that's where our heart is. So it's so hard when people we know and don't know. It took me over an hour to borrow someone's cell phone when my phone got stolen or my car got stolen and my kids were stuck in daycare. And that's a big no-no. If your kid's stuck at daycare after closing, don't they call Child Protective Services? Oh my God. Like, I couldn't get a hold of the mentor. I couldn't get a hold of anybody. The mentor, finally, I got a hold of him borrowing the parking attendant's phone, but he didn't know where the parking garage was because I didn't have an address. And so I needed to go out and look for the address. The police wouldn't even help me. The campus police says this is not our jurisdiction, but it happened on Portland State University properties. They would not give me a drink of water. They did not offer a bathroom. They did not tell me, here's a phone you can use. They just completely blew it off. I wanted to write a grievance so bad because I was out downtown Portland by myself, wandering around in the dark. So I already called the police. They just hadn't come. So there's tragedies like this. I call the pastors from my church that I went to for almost 10 years, tithe and offered every single thing, did injustice to my kids, to my student loan debt. They wouldn't even talk to me. Like, well, good luck with that. Click. And that's happened more than once. And you know full well if they had called me and said, oh my God, like they used to say, oh, we don't want to come pick up my kid from your house. Can you bring the kid? Like, you want me to drive all the way? Like, you can't even meet me in the middle. Like, you guys, you have two parents, you got relatives, you got your in-laws or your parents coming to visit and help with the kids. You got your neighbors babysitting your kids. And I'm just a homeless single mom living in a housing program, working my tail off and volunteering 7 days a week and going to school full time with no help. I had help from the Bells and I had help from the family that beat my kid up. But that family that beat my kids up had foster children, so they had their own tragedy with these foster kids that they ended up adopting, and the kids were like molesting the animal and doing stuff with their privates that my kids told me about. And I was like, oh my God, I can't ever have, they're the only ones that want to babysit you. I will not go anywhere. You cannot go over there. And I pray, I have had that happen in our old church where a toddler was adopted, and then, a little girl was adopted by this family, and the family had a baby boy, and they caught the little girl molesting the baby, and it was a big tragedy. We have to be careful when we adopt or we foster kids. Unfortunately, they have been around people and places that are abusing them. Or else, I mean, sometimes it's, someone said their kids went into foster care because they had bulimia. And they told their case manager that they were recovering from bulimia and they had some slip-ups. And they said they got their kids took away. Someone else got their kids took away because they were sick. And they came and did an inspection and their house wasn't clean enough. And they might have already been with CPS. But there's personal tragedies, there's other tragedies, there's tragedies where the state and the government tries to mess with you. My partner or my daughter has an inspection on Monday that she probably just found out about yesterday. And it's a nightmare. But right now, I feel like there's a global war. The price of food and sunflower oil, everything across the world is super high. And we're going out to the stores and people aren't afraid to fill up their carts and fill up their trunks, and the Amish market's packed and the farmers market's packed. And it's like, there's a lot of people that have a lot of money. So the rich got wealthier, and I've been poor all my life since I left my parents. That was their money. My own money has been incredibly low income. And it's like that. And so if people make fun of you, there's an article about people hoarding after September, or after 2020. They call it hoarding problem, and people, it's the same article saying a lot of young people are getting ADHD meds. Hoarding and taking stimulants. I don't know, but they were like, it's always been like that. People aren't hoarding. They're collecting toilet paper and canned goods. It's not necessarily that they're storing every piece of used toilet paper or paper towel and wrapper and empty bottle of stuff, and got their bathtub not working and the toilet doesn't work, and they use their sink as a toilet until they use the litter box. Like, you know, it gets a little extreme when you're a pack rat versus hoarding different things like 50 cats and dogs. I mean, of course, there's some help that could be done with that, but a lot of it is people like, I'm not going to go get in a fist fight over the last roll of toilet paper in Walmart. And they're going to go and get their BJ's and their Costco memberships, which are outrageous, the price of the membership. The food is not any cheaper. I'm not sure I even want to renew it this year. It used to be cheaper buying in bulk, but I don't see it. I see it almost being more expensive. So look into what your inner self, spiritual self says to do, and know that if I had to go out right now, if I could even get out with the clothing I'm wearing and like the bug out bag that I already packed, I don't even keep my purse in a similar place every day. If that's all I had while I'm chanting peace around the city, around the town, what do I do? I came home, my partner got a bunch of hickory nuts and pecans, I don't know what I did with them, from the ground. She's like, if you're out in a situation and you're walking past these nuts and you don't pick them up, like, it's like you're just not wise. So we brought these nuts home from the ground. There's walnuts everywhere too. I'm like, am I supposed to eat these? I'm like, is this sanitary? One time I picked up a bunch of walnuts outside of here and I put them in the back of the car and I went and looked at them. They were full of worms. And I was just like, is that what my regular walnuts go through? Do they just like send them, break the outer shell off and bleach them? I mean, I know they bleach nut shells and then just dry them off and then put them in bags. And so I'm going to go through my other nuts, but not the Brazil nuts. I'm going to go through some of the hazelnuts I've had. They're like 2-3 years old. They're way too old. And then try to not prep hoard, but out with the old and in with the new. And when I do see a deal, make sure that I don't have that. When you say organize, you make sure you're not duplicating something. Or me and my partner have something where I think I should only have this 2 bags of nuts, and then he puts 4 more in the cart, and now I have 6 bags of nuts from last year that I haven't touched because I had high selenium levels in my blood from eating too many Brazil nuts. So probably eat one every Sunday. Peace, guys. It's tea time, and I don't want to be stuck in here. I got errands to run. But last I saw, you can't see my door. It's all torn up. They have I see all the business owners going through their backs. I don't even know if they have keys to fit into the front of their shops. It's not my problem. It's just I need my partner to be able to get in. If I have to bug in, that's one thing, but I'm not in the mood to try to bug out right now. Peace, guys. Detoxing in style.